Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie or Cam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How you doing today, Will?
Doing great, Cam. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Welcome to the Everything Podcast. Sorry we skipped 2 weeks, right, Will? There,
Yeah.
but we're back. Didn't really mean to do it. Wasn't a scheduled break or anything. It just happened. Things happen. Um, but since we didn't get to do this before New Year's, these are the best movies that we saw this year. Some of them only I saw, some of them only Will saw, and some of them we both saw. Um, so yeah, that'll be the main focus of this podcast. Just going over movies that came out in 2022, and just not going in depth reviewing them, but we'll give our general analysis, and some of them we've already talked about before, so we'll try to keep it quick because we do have a lot of movies to cover here. So yeah, let's get started, Will. The first movie
Let's
I'd
do
like
it.
the first movie I'd like to bring up is the film Megan, which came out a few weeks ago, which I got the chance to see, and it was a solid movie. Gets a solid 7 out of 10 for me. PG-13 horror is never awesome, but then you have movies like The Sixth Sense and I guess Jaws. That are I guess masterpieces. Um, but this wasn't it. It was fun to watch. It was definitely fun. Nothing more, nothing less. Solid 6 out of 10 for me. And then I had the film Scream 5, which came out this year, and I really liked it, actually. I thought it was a very fun film, a very good horror film, with a lot of great gore, a lot of great kills, a lot of great action sequences, and overall, a 8 out of 10 experience for me. A pretty good movie. Uncharted, well, which we both had the chance to see.
Yeah.
This is a movie I strongly disliked, but Will, I know you didn't agree
Yeah.
with
I
me
mean,
there.
I not. I don't. Not much. I mean, I don't think it's great, but I was able to walk out of it saying like it was a solid, fun enough action movie. But I definitely think it's far from great. So I'm totally with you there.
Yeah, and the strengths of the movie, I think, is Mark Wahlberg's performance. Even though I
Yeah.
have played the Uncharted game, Uncharted 4, which I know Uncharted fans will get mad at me about because I haven't played all of them. I just played the fourth. um, but yeah, Mark Wahlberg's character and Tom Holland's character are nothing like the characters from the game, which I know upsets a lot of Uncharted purists out there. That is not me, but it was still kind of annoying because I feel like they could have mixed up the casting and made it better. So for me, that's a 5 out of 10 movie.
Yeah. I'll go 6 out of 10
All
for
right,
me.
perfect.
So you know.
Death on the Nile, a mystery movie which I tried to see in theaters, but when I went there, it I learned it got taken out of theaters, so I had to watch it at home on my
Wow.
own time, which was quite annoying. um,
Wow.
yeah, it was not a very fun experience. But anyway, I got to watch it, and it was a solid movie. It was the sequel to the film Murder on the Orient Express, which is an Agatha Christie novel, I believe, and so is this. And yeah, both the movies I found really entertaining. Uh, in terms of these big mystery movies, it's not my favorite. I would have to go with the Knives Out franchise over it. But this was just a solid movie, a really well shot film. You can tell Kenneth Branagh knows what he's doing, what he's directing. He's also the director of the first Thor film. He's also a very well-rounded, good actor, so he plays the role of Hercule Poirot perfectly, who, if you guys don't know, is the detective in this movie. Um, but yeah, overall, a 7 out of 10 for me. A fun watch, a very beautiful movie. Uh, Fun to watch, nothing more. Now we have the film The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, not the 1970s film Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but the reboot slash sequel that they came out with this year. A requel, kind of. Um, it was horrendous. They tried to do some things that I just wasn't happy with. They tried to make it very modern, and it just didn't work. I just wish they stuck with the classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre format. That didn't have to make it overly modern. Uh, Aside from that, though, it had a few good kills. Not a few, it had quite a few good kills. A lot of fun scenes. So that definitely gives it a few points there for me. So for me, I give it a 3 out of 10. Um, if you want to watch that movie with friends, it will be a fun time. Next film I'd like to talk about, which was my favorite comic book movie of the year, The Batman, which we both saw. Will, um,
Yeah,
I love
it
this
is.
movie.
Yeah, well, I thought Robert Pattinson as the Batman, especially, was just amazing. It was so well acted, so well shot, so well written. Nothing really to complain about besides maybe slightly too long. But besides that, what's there to really critique with that film?
Yeah, I see. I know you're talking about with the length, but I watched this movie 3 times. I haven't even watched No Way Home 3 times, and that's saying something. I mean, I really enjoyed that movie. The length, yep, was a problem, I guess, um, but it's just perfect. It's a beautifully shot film, beautifully directed, and they're working on a spin-off TV show
Oh yeah,
about the Penguin, um, which will be a very fun, not fun, a very dark and gritty show, which I will have a lot of fun watching. That'll go to HBO Max. So yeah, I'm excited to watch that when it comes out, and I believe they started filming recently.
nice.
All right, so the next movie on this list here is The Atom Project,
Oh yeah,
which we both saw and went to
yeah.
Netflix. A Ryan Reynolds film. It was good. There, nothing I really need to say about this. It's an average
Just
sci-fi
good,
adventure movie.
good fun with a star-studded cast.
Yeah. Um, yeah, nothing more, nothing
Yeah,
less.
but just a super fun movie that you can watch with your family or friends. I would say just super fun. Just really enjoyed just the fun experience of it.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, for the Batman, I give that 9 out of 10. I forgot to give my score. But for
I
the
yeah,
Atom,
I'm right there with you. Yeah,
but for the Atom Project, I give it a 6 out of 10. Solid.
I'll go I'll go 7 out of 10. Yeah, just
All right,
a
fair,
solid film. Absolutely.
fair. Yep. Next I have The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which was a Nicolas Cage movie that released this year with Pedro Pascal, who is currently in a show right now, The Last of Us, which is based off a very popular video game. And the show is getting very good reviews, and you also might know him. He is the Mandalorian, and Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage. It is a fun movie. It is an entertaining movie. It is a very good action movie. A few unnecessary characters and a few unnecessary scenes. A very funny movie. Action packed. Enjoyed it. Nothing more. 7 out of 10. Alright, next film here is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Um, I don't know why I watched this movie. I don't think it was horrible by any means. Uh, wasn't great. Didn't I think it was kind of a waste of my time to watch it. 4 out of 10. 5 out of 10. If I was younger, I'm sure I would enjoy it a lot more, you know. Next film we both saw, Morbius. Yeah, well, I think we know
Yeah.
how we both feel about this.
Yeah, yeah. I had what 7 out of 10. You had what 6 out of 10, or do you go like five,
I go into the 4 or 5 range.
four, four or five?
It's more generic than the Black Adam movie.
I
Um,
would put yeah. I mean I would take it over Black Adam, but obviously I would not take it over any MCU film that
yeah,
came out here.
I would hope not.
That's just well yeah. I really don't even need to say that. That was almost a unnecessary thing for me to say. But please continue.
Next is another film we both saw, and another film I really liked. I believe it may be my favorite Marvel movie of the year.
It is
Wakanda
yeah.
Forever might top it. I don't know.
I'll
I'm still
go
working on that.
Madness 1, Wakanda Forever 2, both. Multiverse of Madness, I thought that was just an epic film with a
Yeah,
stunning Elizabeth Olsen performance.
yeah,
Like, that is elite Marvel 9 to 10 out of 10 range for me. Like, that's an elite Marvel film. Loved it.
yeah. It's definitely up there. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, I love this movie. Solid 8 out of 10. 8, 9. I don't know. My reviews change a lot after watching Marvel movies. Next is Jurassic World Dominion, which I didn't get a chance to see in theaters, and I saw like 2 months late, and I shouldn't have. It was a waste of time. 4 out of 10. You don't need to watch this. It's meh. Next here is Top Gun Maverick, a film, another one we both saw. You got to see it in the drive-in theater.
I
Unfortunately, you had
did.
the first 30 minutes of the film with audio
Right.
description on.
Yeah, but
Um,
my dad and I did go back and watch it in the theater a month later. So awesome to get that incredible experience. That's a film that you really should see on the big screen.
yeah,
It's a type of film that's meant for that experience, and it's an all time great sequel. I watched the original film the night before I saw Top Gun Maverick. Like, this is like what I will say about Top Gun Maverick. I like that movie. I think it is obviously a classic 80s film, and yet
hmm
as much as I like it, the sequel still outdoes it in like
yeah.
literally every way possible, and that's
And
what's so
I'm
amazing
with you,
about it.
Will.
So
I'm a really big fan of the original Top Gun.
yeah,
But
classic
yeah,
movie.
this is just a little bit better for me. Not a little bit, quite a bit better than
Totally,
that.
I'm right there with you.
All right, next here we have Elvis, which was a really good movie. Austin Butler was killing it. Tom Hanks was killing it. It was really good. A really intriguing movie to watch, and just I don't know how accurate it was because I mean I listen to Elvis here or there. I like a few of his songs, but I'm not like a diehard Elvis Presley fan, so I don't know how accurate it was to his life. Um, if it was, then that's awesome. If it wasn't, then it still entertained me. So I really like this movie. 8 out of 10 for me. I had a really fun time watching it. Baz Luhrmann is a really talented director, and he does a lot of cool things with this movie that you don't see nowadays. A lot of cool effects, a lot of cool stylistic choices. Um, Next is a film I saw called Lightyear, a Pixar film, which that's the best thing about it, that it's Pixar. It looks beautiful. Aside from that, didn't add anything to the Toy Story universe for me. Um, Easy 5 out of 10. Don't don't need to watch this. No one does. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I'm at and I think my grade has actually dropped to like zero point 0.5, but I am at a 7 out of 10. A solid Marvel movie, but I thought it was all over the place, trying to do too much. I thought its comedy just did not work and was just not nearly as well written as Thor Ragnarok was. So 7 out of 10, solid, but not close to elite Marvel installment, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we both fooled ourselves when we first watched it. We tried so hard to make us ourselves think that we were going to love it, and that just didn't
Well, the
happen.
first trailer is just not accurate to what the
No,
movie turned out to
not at
be.
all.
It's just like that is one of my dad's biggest critiques is that you watch the first trailer and then the movie that you get is nothing like that. That's one of my
Hmm.
dad's biggest critiques about that film.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, but yeah, for me, that is a 6 out of 10 movie, maybe 6.5. Entertaining for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Christian Bale, I think is giving it his all. Same with
Oh
Natalie
yeah.
Portman, and Chris Helmsworth. I think all the actors are trying their best. They just
It's
want
not an issue with acting, it's an issue with story and dialogue to me. And writing this time around.
Yeah,
Not the actor's fault, because you saw what the actors were able to do with great, funny material in Thor Ragnarok. They were outstanding.
yeah. Um, Next film here is Bullet Train, which I had a chance to see. I came out giving it maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Rewatched it on Netflix, and just blew me away. I don't know why I didn't realize it was so good. I think it was just a movie I went in. I just had as a movie I just had on my bucket list. I had to see it. Just it was a long one, so I had to kind of sit through it. Um, but upon rewatching it, it's a good movie. I really like it. Brad Pitt's fantastic. Dialogue is fantastic. It's really funny. There are some really funny scenes in here. The fight scenes are really good. They're like on par, I'd say, with John Wick or Jason Bourne. You know, they're really entertaining fight scenes, and the whole thing mostly takes place on a bullet train, which adds a whole new element to the film, which is really cool. So I really enjoyed Bullet Train. That movie gets a 9 out of 10 for me.
Nice.
Next film is another film we both saw. The Gray Man, starring Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. Average. Well,
Average.
average, yeah.
Average. Maybe 6 out of 10. Average film.
But it was very cool to see Chris Evans. He was
Oh yeah.
very good in this role.
Very good. I agree.
He
Very good.
reminded me of Nicolas Cage, which was weird. He's really been cool to see play a villain. Like in Knives Out, he was fantastic as a villain. Oh, sorry, I just spoiled Knives Out for anyone who hasn't seen it. um, but yeah, I thought he was really good in this. Ryan Gosling's always good. Always fun to watch. Entertaining. This movie gets a 6 out of 10 for me as well. Next movie here is Super Pets, which I didn't get a chance to see in the theaters because didn't really care enough to see it in theaters. But one night I just figured, might as well watch it. So I finished it within. Took me 2 days because it was a tough movie to sit through. It wasn't very entertaining. It was definitely a kids movie, and I guess if I was a kid, I would enjoy it more. This movie gets a 5 out of 10 for me. Just don't need to watch this. It's not good enough. Next film here is my favorite, possibly my favorite film of the year. Nope.
In,
Uh,
in, an incredibly well acted film. I thought the actors knocked it out of the park in that one.
yeah, I mean, you have Jordan Peele's directing on top of Kiki Palmer's acting, and same
Outstanding.
with Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah,
Um,
they're both fantastic as
both
the
fantastic.
lead.
And then you have side characters like Stephen Yeun, who is awesome. Um, yeah, it was just a really awesome movie. Very suspenseful, mysterious. Had some horror elements in there, but it wasn't a horror movie. Had some mystery elements in there, but wasn't a mystery. Had some comedy elements in there, but wasn't a comedy movie. It was the perfect balance. Uh, really well done. On par with I think Get Out. I thought on par with that. Slightly above the film Us, which is still a good film by Jordan Peele. Um, but yeah, this movie gets a 9 out of 10 for me.
None, none.
Um, Maybe even a 9.5. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. The
Awesome.
next film here is the film Prey, which is a prequel Predator movie. Uh, Predator obviously is a classic franchise with this not modern spin on it. It actually goes back a lot of years. Um, and it is a very well done action movie. Not perfect, not amazing, but it's most certainly not a bad movie. I really had a fun time watching the fight scenes with the Predator. Really intriguing, Um, really cool. Yeah, solid 7.5 for me.
Nice.
Next film here is Barbarian, which was a horror film that came out this year. It was scary. It was really scary. Me and my friend went and see this movie. Uh, yeah, we were scared. It was quite a few jump scares in there. It does a lot of unique things. There's a point in the middle of the movie where they're in a. Oh, I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just give a light description. They're in a cave, sort of. Um, Things aren't going too well, and then we cut to a man driving his convertible on the beach, in the middle of the movie, out of nowhere, and then he becomes the main character of the movie. Out of nowhere, and it's great. And then they introduce a whole new subplot in the middle of the movie, and then there are a few flashback scenes with random timing, unexpected timing, that is just really cool. And the film touches on a lot of really interesting subjects, um, a lot of dark subjects as well. Um, if you want to know more about this movie, I listened this. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to just know about the production a little more. So I listened to the Dead Meat podcast. It's a horror podcast. I really love Dead Meat. But I ended up listening to this podcast because I love this movie, and when I listen to podcasts, and they had some really interesting things to say. So if you've seen the movie and want a more in depth dive into it, or a breakdown kind of, yeah, I definitely listen to the Dead Meat podcast on it. They go really in depth. I really like it. Next film here is Don't Worry Darling, which was a mystery starring Harry Styles and Florence Pugh, uh, both brilliant actors in this movie. People say Harry Styles was horrible. I disagree. He was good. I thought he was good in this movie. I don't care what anyone says. He was good. I mean, um, he was just. I don't know why people were complaining. He was fine. This movie gets a solid 7.5 out of for me. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not, because it's definitely a mysterious movie. I don't want to spoil it. By the way, I give Barbarian an 8 out of 10, and I give Don't Worry Darling an 8 out of 10. Next film here is the film The Whale, which I got to see. It was sad, but not sad just to be sad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But there are movies like that, right? I'm trying to think of one right now. Can you think of one, Will? It's just a movie that its sole purpose is just to make you feel
I'm
upset.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't think of the title of one that's kind of coming to my mind. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, in terms of films like that. Yep.
You when going into this movie, that's what you think would this movie would be like, but it's not. It's not at all. It's definitely a sadder movie. Uh, Definitely an emotional movie, but I think it also shows it's also a good film, a well-made film, and it has a message it wants to send, and it has things it wants to say. So it's not sad just to be sad. Um, the ending is beautiful. Brendan Fraser's performance is it's perfect. It's exactly what you could have asked for this role. So props to him. Masterful performance there. Next film here is the film The Menu, which may take the spot for my favorite movie of the year. I didn't get to see this in theaters. Just it intrigued me. Didn't know it was this good. When I watched it, it was good. It was a nail biter. It was thrilling. It wasn't what I expected it to be at all. Ray Fiennes' performance is awesome. The ending, you could say, falls flat, but I don't think that ruins the movie for me. But I think that ending just pushes Nope above it just a little as best movie of the year. Um, but yeah, definitely a brilliant movie. This movie gets a 9 out of 10 for me. Next film on my list here is Werewolf by Night, which isn't technically a movie, but it's a movie. It's basically a movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night. Well, and I know you did as well. Uh,
Yeah, it was everything that you could ask for out of like a out of a spooky Halloween special. That I thought the acting was brilliant. And as I've said, maybe we can touch on this more when we talk Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special later. But I think Marvel, as I've said before, has really found something in these specials
Yeah,
that they should look at more.
for sure. I really liked I really liked yeah, I really liked World by Night. I thought it was a really well made film. Michael Giacchino, who is a composer, directed it, and he did a brilliant job. We've talked about it before on the podcast. That's why I'm kind of just breezing over it here. And well, did I give my rating for The Whale?
No.
Oh, I didn't. All right. The Whale gets an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Sorry.
No,
And Werewolf
no
by
problem.
Night. Werewolf by Night also gets an 8 out of 10.
Same for
Um,
me. Yeah.
so next film here is the film Glass Onion, which went straight to Netflix. Had a week in theaters, but I never got to see it in theaters. It was a very good mystery. The movie Death on the Nile I talked about earlier. You remember? Well, that movie is here, down here. Glass Onion's up here. It is a far superior movie. It is a sequel to the film Knives Out, which you'll know I've said before is one of my favorite movies of all time. But Glass Onion doesn't fail to live up to be a worthy sequel. It's a very good sequel, and it's a very good movie on its own. The character of Benoit Blanc is intriguing, and I can't wait for them to delve deeper more into his character in further movies. Next film here is Amsterdam, another film I didn't get to see in theaters, but I saw in my own time. It was kind of confusing actually. I actually watched this one with my family, and yeah, everyone in my family was confused, which weird, but yeah, from the parts I kind of understood, I enjoyed. I enjoyed a lot. I thought it was very well acted, a star-studded cast. I mean, Taylor Swift was in this movie. Taylor Swift and Robert De Niro in the same movie. Never thought you'd see that. Um, but yeah, enjoyed it for what it was. 7 out of 10 for me. Smile, horror movie that came out this year. Disturbing horror movie, yes. Well-made horror movie, yes. Uh, Creepy, yep, perfect. It covered all the bases, but it was also a bit generic. There were some weird, kind of boring areas of the movie, you know, and that definitely brought it down for me. That movie gets probably a 7.5 for me. Yeah. Alright, the next film on this list here is the film we both saw, Will, Black Adam. Horrible. Boring.
Pretty bad.
Done before. Doesn't add anything to the comic book, movie, game.
Literally have nothing to add to that.
Yeah. 6 out of 5, 6 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Six, I guess. Yeah. For me.
Yeah. Next film we have here is Halloween Ends. A awful sequel, perhaps. Takes everything we loved about Halloween Kills, even for all its faults. I enjoyed it. Halloween 2018, enjoyed it. Halloween Ends, it was why did they do what they did? I don't know. Another movie which I would recommend listening to the Dead Meat podcast about, because they go more in depth and they talk about some things which actually make you think, and I get what they were saying on the podcast, but still not a great movie. They introduce a new character in the final movie of the series, a new main character, and it just doesn't make sense. Next film here, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Uh, Possibly my favorite MCU movie of the year. Either that or Multiverse of Madness. That movie gets... Oh, wait. Halloween Ends gets a 4 out of 10 for me. But Wakanda Forever gets an... I don't know, 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think I'll go 8 out of 10 as well. A film that's a beautiful tribute to Chadwick
Of
Boseman, but
course.
allow me to quickly say this. So, Angela Bassett has obviously won a couple Best Supporting Actor awards for this film. I think the one was like the Critics' Choice Awards, and there was some other place as well. As deserving as she is of it, and as great as her performance was, folks, I believe that this has nothing to do with it being a Marvel movie. I believe this just because I've heard folks talk about this. Like, I believe the reason Angela Bassett is winning these Best Supporting Actor awards and getting nominated for these Best Supporting Actor awards is because people want to see her rewarded for her great 30-year or so acting career. I believe it has nothing to do with it being a Marvel movie and it being way more about them wanting her to be rewarded as an actor. And I believe that if you truly appreciated Marvel films, that someone like Elizabeth Olsen would be nominated for best supporting actor because she
Yeah,
was
I agree.
stunning in Multiverse of Madness. So as deserving as Angela Bassett is of these awards, I believe it has nothing to do with her being in a Marvel movie, and I think of it more as people just wanting to celebrate her career in acting.
I'm with you. Um, Next film here is Spirited, which I got a chance to watch on Apple TV. It was a it was a good musical, a good Christmas musical. Not a Christmas classic at all. I really had fun watching this movie. Definitely a 7 out of 10 for me. Ryan Reynolds is always hilarious. Same with Will Ferrell. Definitely gonna rewatch it next year. But I don't think it will be a classic. Next film here is Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Um,
Just fun.
yeah,
7 out of 10
7 out
fun.
of 10, perfect. Yeah, didn't add anything. Actually, yes, it did.
Well, it did, yeah.
Mantis is Quill's sister, and
That yeah, I mean
that's
that
the
was
real
a
purpose
huge
behind it. I
that
feel
was a
like.
huge reveal, and we've talked about the trailer for Guardians Volume 3, and we're both, I would say, psyched, but also preparing ourselves for the deaths that may come, and this being the last time we'll see this team of Guardians on screen, which will be very sad, but also a celebration of all the Marvel has been able to do with those characters in that movie franchise.
Yeah. Uh, Next film here is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. What a great movie! Love Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Great animated movie. Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots is fantastic. The music is in it is fantastic. The animation is fantastic. It's really funny. It's heartwarming. I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful film. Definitely an 8 out of 10 for me. Uh, Up here next, finally, we have Violent Night, starring David Harbour. Disappointing is all I have to say. I thought it was going to be a really entertaining movie, but it was actually kind of boring. And David Harbour was good, I guess, but nothing crazy. This movie gets a 6 out of 10 from me. So yeah, that'll do it for today's episode of the Everything Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed, and next week we'll be back to our regular format, talking about everything. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Well, thank you for joining me as always, and I'll see you next time.